again to get you all set up for this weekend's Pick'em Live contests at Santa Anita. Every Saturday, every Sunday, $500 up for grabs to the winner of the Pick'em contest. They are totally free to play, free to enter. All you have to do is go to pick'em.santanita.com and register. It's take you just a minute or two. You don't have to tie any of your accounts or anything to there. And we can tell you from experience, if you win this thing, you're going to get paid $500. Last time in the smaller meet, it was $1,000 to the winner because they had only about a month worth of dates. There are 4 months worth of dates you can play in right now. And we have a former winner, Eric from ETOF 21 Sports, joining us. Eric, you took down one of these contests a couple months back when the prize was $1,000. And this one that we're going to be talking about is pretty fun because it's going to be really heavy Super Bowl related. We're going to talk all about the big game, Chiefs, Eagles, and a lot of different props coming up for the Sunday contest as we preview the Sunday, February 12th Pick'em slate.
Yeah, great contest. I love the fact because I always need confirmation that the green thing comes up and you get.
I love it too.
You get email confirmation also that your picks have been updated and sheets been updated. For someone that's me that spends 99% of his life running around with his head cut off, I'd like to have confirmation.
Just getting that, right? Like if you type in your tiebreaker with which would be total yards in the game, type it in, boom, it tells you the green little notification, your tiebreaker has been submitted. So that's what's nice is that as soon as you click and you enter, it saves all of your progress along the way. Eric, let's get started. We have the first two props, 1 and 2, that are about the races, and then the tiebreaker and everything else is about the Super Bowl and the big game. Let's talk about the tiebreaker. Total yards combined in the Eagles-Chiefs game. What do you think?
I put 967. I think the Chiefs, with what they do defensively, the Eagles are going to be able to move the ball at will. So I think they're going to have a little bit higher yards production than most people think. So I went a little higher. I went 960.
Yeah, you're a little higher than me, where I was down in the 750s. But Eric thinking both teams can move the ball on each other very, very well. That's your tiebreaker. Remember, hit the submit, and it'll let you know your tiebreaker has been submitted. So for prop 1 and 2, it's just straight pick the winner at Santa Anita. We go to the last 2 races on the Santa Anita card for Sunday. Pick the winner of race number 7. Eric, who do you think that's going to be?
I went with the 4 coming off.
So did I.
Bigger. Yep. I think they're going to begin in the good spot. So when they get the turn, they're just going to be just off the early pace and get the last kick to get home.
Yeah, Sapodilla, the 4, was facing better horses throughout the early parts of her career. She dropped down in class, and she seems like she's really found the fit, right? On December the 2nd, she dropped down against Claimers. She was a good third. Then in her last 2 races, she was good third in both of them. She was going a little bit longer. Now this cutback to 5.5 furlongs should really help Sapodilla, who Eric and I are both on the number 4. Eric, let's move to race number 2. I got a feeling we might be on the same one here too. I'm on your boy Juan Hernandez. I just felt like Wild Grazer is really going to get a beautiful trip in here. There's a couple speed horses, and this is a horse who's more of a mid-pack to deeper closer who should sit behind those. She's coming off of back-to-back wins. She's won both of her starts in the U.S. For me, it's the Wild Grazer. How about for you?
Yeah, I agree 100%. One first start since coming over to the U.S. JJ on the mount, going to be in the middle of the pack and get the last second kick to come home. So I just don't see how anyone else in the field beats her.
The Wild Grazer. So as you kick back, you're going to be watching the big game on Sunday. Just take the time to fill out your entry for this right now. You'll just have some additional action while you're sitting back and watching the big game. Eric, heads, tails. Heads has won 4 of the last 5, but you know what? Tails never fails. So I'm going tails here. Which way are you going?
I flipped the coin. It came up heads, so I went heads.
Hey, you know what? That's great analysis, right? You did a sample size right there. You get your hypothesis. You had to work it out. Flip that coin. You get the heads. Eric's on the heads. Eagles, Chiefs plus 1.5. Eagles minus 1.5. I mean, 2 very good football teams here, right? That's why this is a 1.5 point spread and not more than a field goal, because this is a game that could go either way.
For me, football is won in the trenches, and I just think that the Eagles have a significant advantage in both the trenches. If the Eagles are going to be able to run the ball, that's going to force the Chiefs to come out of the cover 2, play a little bit more cover 1, which will open stuff up for AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So I just like the Eagles here. I just don't see how the Chiefs are going to be able to counter everything that the Eagles are going to want to do offensively.
Eagles can throw a lot at them. Chiefs have probably the best player on the field and maybe 2 of the better players, but the Eagles more well-balanced. I think I slightly lean Chiefs. And honestly, it's just because of the value. Like if this were flip-flopped and the Eagles were getting any money at all, I would probably go in that direction just because I feel like this is such a good game with 2 well-matched teams that should be able to kind of counter each other throughout this game. So very, very rare when Eric and I are like strongly disagreeing, and that doesn't really seem like it's the case again, but we're on opposite sides here, Chiefs and Eagles. How about the total, Eric? Over under 50.5?
You know, I went under just because I just think that with the Eagles are going to sit on the ball once they get the lead, and the Chiefs are really going to struggle to score, and the Eagles are going to be able to score at will.
Just run the ball, run the clock. Yeah. Over under 50.5. I'm going to go slight over just because the number has ticked down a little bit from where it was. So I feel like we might be getting a little value on it just by a point or 2 based on where the number was about a week or week and a half ago. And I did agree with your assessment. I do think both teams will be able to move the ball on each other a little bit. I'm going to go slight over in this one. Eric, first score of the game. Is it going to be Eagles rushing, passing, touchdown, or a field goal? Chiefs rushing, passing, or a field goal, or other? Where are you looking here?
I went with the chalk. No, actually, I didn't. I went with the Eagles rushing.
Me too. And I got to say, I had changed from Eagles rushing to Chiefs passing because I thought I was going to go with whichever was less between those two. And if Eagles rushing right now is less, I'm jumping right back to Eagles rushing TD because I think that makes the most sense.
Chiefs have been showing they've been able to run on, and that's what the Eagles do. They're going to get down within the 5. It's going to be Hurts with an RPO with Miles Sanders. So
and the options of their running, right? Yeah. Once they get down there, it could be Sanders, Gainwell, Hurts. We could see a reverse type of play to an AJ Brown, something like that. I just feel like there are a lot of options for a rush Eagles touchdown as we continue along with our Santa Anita Pick'em Prop Contest. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Eric, which team will punt first, the Eagles or the Chiefs?
I went with the Chiefs just because the Eagles have the significantly better defense.
And I just think Sirianni is more of a go for it on 4th guy too. He did it 3 times in the conference championship game. They got it all 3 times. He extended drives more than any team in the league this year. They scored more points based on 4th down conversions. The Eagles did. They've done that from the first game. And I shout out to Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes is a fantastic analyst on ESPN. I think a lot of people, she's a tiny girl, so a lot of people will kind of roll their eyes. She breaks down film fantastically. Like if you listen to her talk for about 10 minutes, you will be incredibly impressed. And the cool thing about Mina Kimes too is she's got a really fun personality. Like she's funny and she's sharp on Twitter. If anybody ever tries to go at her on Twitter, she will put you in a body bag in about 5 minutes. Like she is creative and she's going to make you sound and look dumb no matter who you are. She tweeted the first game that Sirianni coached for the Eagles against the Falcons last year. And you said something about this too. After that first game, you said, I like this coach. Like you were pointing out some of the things that you liked about him. She was on ESPN and she brought back up her segment right after that game. And she said, I like this guy. He got aggressive. He set the tone. He did it the first game that he coached, and he's still doing it now in the biggest spots, Eric. So you know what I love about that? That's consistency. That's having a plan as a coach, right? That's knowing, hey, this is the way we're going to do things. We're just going to be aggressive and we're going to go for it. He's done it in his first game as a coach 2 years ago against the Falcons, and he did it all 3 times in the biggest stage that he's ever had as a coach just 2 weeks ago. So, I think adding on to that, we both feel like Philly is the team that will be less likely to punt. We're both on the Kansas City Chiefs punting it first. Okay, Eric. This is
your cup of tea.
This is me right here, baby. This is my wheelhouse. Which song will be Rihanna's first song at halftime? Now, if you're looking at the betting odds, Don't Stop the Music and Stay are two that are listed as him being, or listed as her probably singing at the right off the top. Lift Me Up is getting a ton of support. The one that I like, the one that I bet, the one that I've seen Rihanna open up shows with in doing my research, We Found Love. And I think, some of the lyrics, when you think about it, you want it to be kind of an upbeat song. You want it to get everybody going. And I could absolutely see the first thing we hear, Rihanna out there, is kind of by herself, a soft yellow diamonds in the light. Now we're standing side by side. And I think We Found Love is where we're going to go. So, Eric, for me, We Found Love. Where are you headed?
I'm going to go Other, just because I think it's a dart throw. I'll go with.
We'll Stay, and then you get Stay in the mix.
I think she goes Shut Up and Drive. I think that's her first one. I have no reasoning other than it's my favorite song.
There you go. And that's great enough reasoning there. So I'm going We Found Love. Eric going with Other for the halftime Rihanna first performance. Okay, Eric, rushing attempts for Jalen Hurts. Now, I guess some of this depends on how you might handicap this game, right? How do you think the template of the game is going? Now, for me, I think Kansas City wins. So I think the last drive or two, we probably see a lot of Jalen Hurts rushes, because I could see them down by a score, Jalen Hurts needing to pick up a couple extra first downs with his legs. So I went over the 10.5 attempts. But if you handicap this game differently and see it differently, you might have a different approach here. Where did you go?
I went over 10.5. He's always right around there. So this is really just a coin flip. So I went with who picked less. If the something to remember though, Lane Johnson is a little banged up. If Jones is lined up over Johnson, he's able to get pressure. Maybe that will lead to Hurts more off scripted runs as well. So I took the over.
Yeah. And Hurts can get a few of those scrambles too.
Yeah.
Right. That ought to be like 2 of those. And all of a sudden now you're up 2 more rushes. And again, what's the water boy line? Last game of the year, man. Can't hold anything back. And they keep saying it over and over in the water boy. They keep going to him, and they're watching the Bourbon Bowl there. And the water boy's playing offense. The water boy's running the ball. You can't hold anything back. This is one of those games where if you have a running quarterback, that guy's got to get the ball, and you're not able to move the ball. He's got to have the ball in his hands picking up first downs late. You're not worried about getting hit anymore. You're not worried about injuries for next week anymore. None of that stuff is in your mind. I could see Hurts he's the kind of a leader too, where early in the game, if he can sense that he's running the ball, I could see him just doing that a whole lot throughout the game, Eric, just tucking and running. He gets to the corner. He reminds me so much of the way that Vince Young ran. Like he takes those angles to the corner, and he almost goes so directly to the sideline that you're like, what is he doing? Is he running straight out of bounds? And then he just turns the corner on you and picks up those extra 4 or 5 yards, like right in the corner. It's very impressive. And you and I, in our conversations about Jalen Hurts, we've been more and more impressed with him every time we see him. And you in particular, talking about the story of like what this guy has gone through over the last couple of years, from getting benched in college to now being a starter in the Super Bowl.
Yep. I'm a little disappointed with mainstream media that everything he's had to go through, it isn't more spoken about.
Yeah,
So,
it's not like a narrative
it's not, which is a
leading into this
little,
game.
yeah. So, I mean, and he's the type of guy, well, he doesn't care. He just cares about winning, and he leads by example. So, yeah, if you're right, if he's able to move the ball via his legs early on, he'll probably keep doing that the rest of the game because it'll put the Eagles in the best position to win.
Okay, Eric, combined jersey numbers of all the touchdown scorers here, 170.5.
So this is my thought process. So when you just kind of look at the skill players on both rosters, the only ones that are kind of high are Kelce and Goddard, 87 and 88. Everyone else, the highest number is Miles Sanders at 20. So I went under
because, yeah, and if you think about it, right?
And now if Kelce and
Goddard score, then you're in trouble.
I'm obviously in trouble, but I'm banking on not both of them scoring. So that's why I went with the under.
We get to Gatorade color. I believe we've had blue Gatorade 3 of the last 4 years, but when the Chiefs won in that stretch, it was orange. I head right back to orange, Eric. How about for you?
So I was told both of them. I was told what each one is going to have on their sidelines.
Nice.
Both of them are going to have yellow on their sidelines, so that's why I went with yellow and green.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I know. So,
and let's be honest, that's the best Gatorade too. The yellow green, like that's the best flavor of Gatorade. If I wanted to get some Gatorade poured on me, that's what I would have wanted poured on me. The yellow green. We finish it up. Super Bowl MVP. A lot of this comes down to, again, which team do you like? Because you're probably going to pick the MVP based on the winning team. So for me, Eric, I was leaning Chiefs. And you pointed this out. If you are someone that's going to bet the Chiefs straight up, it's more value for you to bet Mahomes to win the MVP, correct? Than just betting the game.
If you're looking at the money line, the money line. 105, but Mahomes to win MVP is plus 130, so you get better value betting on Mahomes to win the MVP because
now in a
times out of 100 he'll win the MVP.
Yeah. Now in a situation like this where I want to be a little bit more contrarian, I wanted to try to zig a little bit, so I don't think it could be anybody besides Mahomes or Kelce. I could actually see it being Kelce with his brother in the Super Bowl. And the fact that Kelce is actually pretty high up on like the all-time playoff receiving list. Like he's second in receiving yards and he's tied for second in receptions. So a big game for him, I could see that happening. So I think it would only be Mahomes or Kelce. I went Kelce just because it was a much, much less owned percentage on Kelce. But one thing that you pointed out is that Jalen Hurts is not getting a lot of love, right? Even from the media, I could see a situation where Philly wins and it's not Jalen Hurts.
I could see that too. And I think Philly is going to win. And my thought process is this. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on the ground. I think Sanders is going to get like 1, maybe 2 touchdowns to start the game. This is Sanders' last game at Philly. When you just look at who's coming off the books and the salary cap situation, they're not going to be able to afford to re-sign him. So it wouldn't surprise me if they gave him a couple more red zone touches if this game plays out the way I think it is. So that's why I went with Miles Sanders for mine.
That is prop number 12 on your Sunday prop contest. Pick'em.santanita.com. It is totally free to enter these. You get $500 to the winner of every Saturday and every Sunday contest. So you could play in every single one of these. Honestly, what I do, just to remind myself, I set an alarm on my phone. That way I remember to put the entries in, and it'll take you just a few minutes to do so. Anytime you get the chance to get a free promotion or to have some sort of a boost, you need to take advantage of it. Eric, we bet, and you and I are involved in so many different sports and games. We have so much action. If you can take advantage of getting a freebie or some kind of a boost or a free $5 or $10 or $20 wager somewhere, take it. And in this case, if you have a good day, you win $500.
and free's free. You know what I mean? It's free to enter. That's the main thing for me. Like, it takes 5 to 15 minutes of your time at most to fill this out. And then you can
There's nothing tricky. There's nothing goofy about it. There's one $500 winner. Eric already knows for sure if you win, they're going to send you the money. Everything is all good. He won it last time. And it's not anything, like you said, that's a lot more work than most of us have already put in. Like, this is already a lot of stuff that's dealing with the big game on Sunday. Most of these are always dealing with the Saturday and Sunday races at Santa Anita. So if you've already looked at those cards, you'll be ahead of the game. We wish you the best of luck. Hope you all crush it on Sunday. Don't forget, every Saturday, every Sunday, free contest, pick'em.santanita.com. Eric and I will be here with you every weekend talking about one of them, either Saturday or Sunday. We'll always preview one of these contests for you to give you a little bit of extra analysis. Eric, buddy, just want to give you another shout out, man. Football season, we're going to put a bow on it. You and I covered every single game on my podcast. You also have your own podcast where you do great work. You have become one of my best friends over the last couple of years, man. We talk so much, and I really appreciate all of the hard work and analysis that you put in.
Thanks. Likewise. You know, we've really gotten to know each other out since, I think, the lockdown.
Yeah, so, right around then. Yep.
Yeah, really appreciate you, giving me a platform and letting me speak my crazy nonsense and putting up with my crazy recording schedule. So I appreciate you and for everything you do as well.
And as we open up with We Found Love, we close out with Umbrella, Ella, 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 A. Good luck, everyone, and have a great weekend.